and downs in anything. Keep going, my nigga. It's better than I damn near had to sacrifice everything. Keep going.
It's ups and downs and everything. TMG, your boy Mellow Risers and Fallers. Week 34, segment 34, depending on how you're taking us in. Before we get started, make sure you like and subscribe. If you're listening to us on the YouTube, make sure you follow us on all socials, Instagram and Twitter. Make sure you listen to our podcast audibly. That's Apple Podcasts and Spotify. But yeah, right now, your boy Mellow, TMG Risers and Fallers. Let's get started. A number one rise of the week. No other place to start than that boy, Tyson, the Gypsy King Fury. What a boxer, what a man. Damn, what a fight. I mean, I'm still getting goosebumps and flashbacks looking at that fight. I might have to watch it again, literally. I mean, that'll be like the third or fourth time I've watched it. I mean, Fury, to be fair, he didn't display his technical excellence as much as, he would have liked. However, he did show what's in his chest, his heart, his know-how, and his obviously ability to use his physical gifts to his full advantage. I mean, his 1-2 is always crisp. He's always crisp because Wilder's coming in with a body attack, jab to the body, quick jabs to the body, and I was thinking, okay, cool. Wilder's actually finally attacking to the body, and then that 1-2 at the end of the first round. Literally at the end of the first round, which was the biggest punch landed in the first round, could have been enough in some judges' eyes to steal the round. But Wilder's pressure and aggression and punches landing and output, probably done enough for him to take round one. But after that, the course of the fight changed quickly. I mean, like his boxing IQ, like I said, is so high. So it should be. I mean, this guy basically was born with boxing gloves in his hand. He comes from a fighting family, a fighting lineage, and it's only right he's the lineal heavyweight champion. The Gypsies, they're fighting men, and his father and his father's father, and I'm sure his father's father's father are all fighting men. So it's only right his IQ so high. Fury as well, he closed the distance expertly. I mean, for a guy his size, he moves so well, so well. I mean, yeah, he really stepped on the gas. I believe it was the third round. He got his knockdown. Wilder was saved by the bell. And it seemed that Wilder was there for the taking. But then Wilder's flipped the script as he does. I call him one of the best desperation fights ever because his right hand is just always there. They say power is the last thing to go. Even when you're tired, exhausted, but you still have a bit of power that can cause damage. And he knocked down Fury twice in that round, and Fury was saved by the bell. But by the fifth round, Fury recovered, and after that was, it was all she wrote. It was good night, Irene. I mean, his second win, his powers of recovery are elite. Some of the best you'll ever see. I mean, Fury is just that good, and he rides punches so excellently. I mean, he rolls with punches. When he's anticipating a punch, or when he sees a punch last minute that you can't get out of the way of fully, he'll ride. So if you throw a right hook, he'll be there just twisting his head to take away the impact of the punch. It's a fantastic technique for elite boxers to know and do. I mean, you should watch Hajime no Ippo, that elite anime. They explain that perfectly, but I'm sure there's other channels and programs and videos rather that will explain that for you guys on social media. But yeah, Fury has it all. Like I said, the IQ, the footwork, the hand speed, the punch variation, the punch selection, the chin, the heart, the size, the strength. The only thing he doesn't have at a near elite or elite level is, I would say, he doesn't have real destructive KO power like an AJ, like a Wilder, like those guys. I mean, he's not firm-fisted, as other guys would say, but he doesn't have that real one punch knockout power, or, that sort of thing. But boy, Fury's that guy. Shout out Tyson Fury, what a guy, and he's rightfully number one on my list. I mean, where he's going right now, he's the best of this era, heavyweights wise, and hopefully we're able to see him fight AJ and Usyk, and we're able to see who the real best is, because we need able to fight everyone else. But so far, he's the best. I mean, he opened up the division when he beat Klitschko in 2015. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to defend his titles. I mean, this is his first title defense ever, which is pretty strange, but is what it is. And he's beat the other elite heavyweight in the division. Obviously, I would say there's four, with Fury, Wilder, AJ, and Usyk in no particular order. He beat the other guy, and before there was only three. So yeah, without doubt, right now he's the elite heavyweight of the division. I mean, he's the best heavyweight of this era right now as it stands today. But from boxing, the sweet science, we go into football. We go into another record breaker. Spain's youngest ever player, that is Gavi. He broke the record, which stood for 85 long years, I believe, in 1936. He played 85 minutes, which he hasn't done for Barca or Barca B at all this season. I mean, so his ascension is kind of a surprise because he's not really known for being a phenom like a Asni Fati or Messi or something like that. He wasn't really projected to be that guy, kind of like a late developer. But yeah, he made his debut against Italy, the European champions in the Nations League. And it was written, as they say, because the stars aligned, because he played against his rival in Marco Verratti and he outshone him, showed him up. Also played against Jorginho, another, I think one European Player of the Year, or Champions League Player of the Year, something. One UEFA Player of the Year, another top elite midfielder these days. And he showed them both up. He didn't look out of place, and he didn't look out of place playing alongside the likes of the legendary Busquets and the very, very good Koke. And he was right in place. I mean, he was comfortable on the ball. His passing selection, his passing completion, his accuracy was fantastic. I mean, he completed 88.7% of his passes, and his rate in the final third of the pitch was even more impressive. Because that shot up to 92.9%. He's tactically astute. He can press well. He's looking at the real deal. I mean, like I said in my post, Gavi, Javi, it don't matter. Spain keep churning out these fantastic midfielders because, you've had, especially in the last, 2020, the last 10 to 15 years, Iniesta, Javi, David Silva, Javi Alonso, Busquets, guys like Koke, Saul, Marcos Senna, they just roll off the tongue. They have so many just top midfielders. It's a joke. I mean, damn. But like I said, the start was a surprise because he hadn't really been playing long minutes for Barca or Barca B. But Luis Enrique seems to be a big fan. I mean, the injury to Pedri opened up this door, but when opportunity comes your way, you need to be prepared to take full advantage of it, and that's what he did. But yeah, Luis Enrique said we're talking about a rare case in Gavi. He's playing on the pitch as if he's in his backyard. He's the present and future of the national team. Those are big words from a top elite manager, Luis Enrique, Champions League winner, I believe, in 2015 with the Barcelona boys, with Messi, Neymar, Suarez, MSN, and all those boys, all those things, basically. Luis Enrique went on to say further, he's a player who can play in between the lines, he doesn't lose the ball, has good technique, and is physical. So it's kind of sounding like the complete package. Shout out Gavi. Sticking with football, from Spain, Espanyol, we go to the northern part of England, and that is Newcastle. Tyneside is going to be lit as hell. Get me lit. I'm going to be there in Tyneside soon because, boy, the renovation around the area is going to go up tenfold. The investment is going to go up tenfold. I mean, there's hope once more in Newcastle. 14 years of Matt Ashley is now done and dusted after the 305 million deal completed, still keeping the financials. I believe Mac actually bought the club in 2007 or 8, 178 million thereabouts, or 174 million. So he's made a profit of, basically 130 million odd. But yeah, the Premier League approved the takeover from the Saudi backed PIF, Public Investment Fund, after receiving legally binding assurances that the Saudi state would not control the club. Like I said, instead, the PIF will provide 80% of the funds for the deal, and they're seen as separate to the states. I've done a dissertation on FFP. They're not separate from the state. The state is controlling them, but it's like a proxy for the state. But who knows? That's similar to what City and PSG do. But FFP is not really meant to do what it says it does. That's a story for a different day. I don't want to bore you guys with that. But yeah, this is despite the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman, being listed as a chair of PIF, like I just said. The sale went through after the deal passed the Premier League's owners and directors test. PIF have assets of over £250 billion, making Newcastle one of the richest clubs in the world, and it makes Newcastle the richest club in the world. I mean, the next best is I think City with 25 billion, or something along the lines. So they're basically more than 10 times richer in terms of assets than City. Financier Amanda Stavely, who fronted the consortium, said the new owners are making a long-term investment to ensure Newcastle are regularly competing for major trophies. It is believed that a resolution came after Saudi Arabia settled an alleged piracy dispute with Qatar-based broadcaster beIN Sports, which owns rights to show Premier League matches in the Middle East. That's basically what held up the deal before. Money, money, money. The last major domestic trophy that was won by Newcastle was 1955, 67 years ago. Hopefully the deal will be able to bring better times to Newcastle once more. Back onto boxing, Fallers, Deontay, the bronze one, Wilder. No excuses. There's no glove tampering, there's no this, there's no that. However, you can't take victories in defeat because he showed to us, he went out and he showed us immense heart. Even though technically and tactically as a boxer, he hasn't really made great strides, but in the heart department, he showed us something there. And he showed us that he still has value in this division. I mean, like I said before, if him and AJ were to fight, for me, it's pretty much as close as 50-50 as it's ever been, because before I thought AJ would beat him. But after what we saw with AJ against Usyk and Wilder against Fury, Wilder will put his all into that fight. AJ, I don't know. So, you know what I mean? But yeah, Wilder was, he had a body attack in the first round, which kind of disappeared after, he basically got punched in the face. As they say, everyone has a plan to get punched in the face. But he was feigning, like I said, going to the body. He recovered well after he was saved by the bell in the third round. After the fourth round, he kind of shot his load. And because he was physically done, he looked wobbly. Basically, from the 5 round all the way to, I believe, the 11th round when he got knocked out. His hands were low from round 7. Boxing is a crazy sport because when you get tired, if your hands are low, you're going to get popped. You're going to get popped the hell out. And that's why Fury was able to land 150 punches. And I think 111 of them being power punches to Wilder. It's crazy stats. Your hands are down. But he has a lot of heart, like I said. He went out and he showed. But the underlying thing here is during adversity, he reverted back to type. That's essentially what it was. So, yeah. Moving quickly onto Belgium, perennial losers, football. On full display yet again. Had a 2-0 lead and they blew it. They choked. They reared their ugly head. Their choking gene reared its ugly head. They bottled it as they know best. For them not to even reach a final with this crop, so-called golden generation, is an indictment on those boys. Some of my favourite players, KDB and Haz. You need to look at yourself in the mirror. They've been routinely ranked in the top 3 in the FIFA rankings. I think they've been number 1 for a long time, maybe not now. I believe Italy probably has that spot. But KDB and Hazard in the second half, they went missing. Lukaku was a bit unfortunate with the disallowed goal, but he did score finally in a big game. So Lukaku gave you more than he's been doing recently. KDB and Hazard, particularly Hazard, I need you guys to rise to the occasion. Hopefully they can bring me back a World Cup next year, if Brazil can't win it. But yeah, like I said, Lukaku actually turned up for once. Final faller, back to the sweet science. Go to Efe Ajagba. Suffers his first loss of his career to the technical, experienced, talented Frank Sanchez. He was totally outclassed by Frank Sanchez. The golfing experience stuck out like a sore ass farm. His feet were slow. To be fair, he did get robbed of a knockdown in my opinion in the 6th round, but it is what it is. But he didn't change up the flow of the fight in my opinion. He doesn't change it up, to be honest. And at this level, when you face top level heavyweights, they're gonna take things away from you like Frank Sanchez did. If you were just predictable, plodding in straight lines, slow feet, trying to load up on the right hand sort of stuff, you're gonna get caught out. You're gonna get found out. That Bellini combos, he didn't turn up the heat. He didn't change the tempo when it was required for him. Essentially, we were just following Sanchez's lead the whole night. Sanchez was the matador. Efe Ajagba was the bull. He was getting duped and yeah, it was crazy. He was very sloppy. Overall, I had him losing 98-92. It was a 10-rounder. And that's all she wrote. It's your boy Mello, TMG. I'm out.